He had a good career. I mean, like it didn't pan out the way that everyone thought it would. I think the expectations were set pretty high when he first exploded onto the scene. It's very difficult, I think, for the younger talent to live up to those expectations. I mean, a lot of people, even including myself, I was like, man, this guy can wrestle. This guy's got power. You know, he's physically strong, and the way he beat Michael Chiesa just shocked me. And I was like, wow, because I believe he caught him in a rear naked, right? Was it guillotine or rear naked? He caught him in a choke.
No, it was a rear naked, but it was stopped before Chiesa went out. It was a weird stoppage.
Interesting. But I look at that fight. I look at that fight, and I look at some other past fight. I'm like, he had high expectations. People had high expectations for him. Yeah. And shortly after that, it wasn't able to pan out. It just didn't live up to it. I mean, he had great moments in a lot of great fights. But sadly, he came out on the losing end on some of those big ones. And so then he went away, tried to reinvent himself, and then came back and, gave it another go. But you know what? I think for some reason, what is he, 29? I think he's still young.
He's 30.
He's 30. So I would give him, I bet you he'll walk away for a year.
Give him a couple years.
Yeah. I think he'll be back before he's 32. Right before he turns 32, I think he'll be back. Maybe
right now he's disappointed.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be back in the UFC, but I think he'll be back. Whether he goes to PFL, whether he goes to one, I don't know, but whatever promotions are around at that time, we'll see. But I don't think he's done yet. I think there's still money on the table for him to be had, and I think he's going to capitalize on that. Just not right now. Give him some time to get his focus back and sort some things out and reinvent himself a little bit. Probably he won't stop training. He won't stop training. He'll take a little bit of a break. Maybe 3 months, 4 months off, but he'll get back in the gym. It's hard to walk away from the gym, man. It's hard to walk away from your friends in the gym.
Where all your friends are.
It's everyone that you've known for, like you said, for the last 12 years. It's everybody you know. Those have been your mainstay friends. Every day you walk in the gym and you see them. Every day you walk in and you guys go have lunch. Every day, like you're joking around in the locker room, whatever it is, on the mats or in the cage or in the locker room or at lunch, whatever it is, you guys, those have been your closest friends. So it's hard to walk away from that. So I think at 30 years old, he'll be back.
I would tend to think that you're right about that. But if he doesn't, this is the thing about, do me a favor, pull up his record, because the one thing about Kevin Lee is, yes, he had some losses to people, but usually those were big name people. He had some big wins too. He had the loss to Tony Ferguson for the interim title. Mm-hmm. That was after beating Trinaldo and Chiesa, and then comes back. He beat Edson Barbosa. That's a hell of a win. Shit. And then he lost a couple in there. The Gregor Gillespie, the kick to the head. My God, what a win that was, against an undefeated guy in Gregor Gillespie. But, he has a lot to look at as far as his career and be proud of, because he fought some of the very best guys out there, and he got some wins against, some really good fighters. There's times that things didn't work out for him. That's part of fighting, but he is young. I think he's just disappointed with, he got the return to the UFC and that fight. Look, everybody who knew who he was fighting knew that was a tough fight for him. Mm-hmm. I think he knew it too in taking the fight. He knew, that his coaches were not dumb. They know exactly what he was up against. Mm-hmm. He just didn't think that it was going to end the way it did with him getting choked unconscious, but he got hurt. Happens.
Yeah.
But take time, and if this is the end, hey, Kevin, you had a hell of a career. You were fun to watch, hell of an athlete, hell of a fighter, and you have nothing to look back on with anything but a lot of pride.
Yeah, I mean, look, his loss to Tony Ferguson, and then he goes up and he beats Edson Barboza next. Then he loses to Alec Quinta. Alec Quinta fought Khabib for the title. Let's not be mistaken. Alec Quinta's a fucking dog. He's a tough fight for anyone because he was shorter in stature, good wrestling, got big power in his hands. Like, he knew how to make fights interesting, like difficult. And then he lost to RDA, former champion. Like, let's be honest, man. RDA is a fucking animal. He's a fucking future Hall of Famer for sure. Then he knocks out Gregor Gillespie, then turns around and loses to Charles Oliveira. Okay. Who hasn't lost to Charles Oliveira, by the way? Okay. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Charles Oliveira. Then he loses to D-Rod. D-Rod's phenomenal, man. D-Rod's people don't, maybe back then, people weren't probably high on him, but D-Rod's an animal, man. D-Rod has come through as of recently, is having great fights. Great fights. Then he beats Diego Sanchez. Then he loses to, how do you say his name, Renat? Renat.
Yeah,
Renat. I don't even want to butcher
Yeah.
the guy's last name. I'm not going to even try to. butcher
Fakrandinov.
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 Okay. Fakrandinov. Okay. Anyways, I think he loses to him. Look, and this guy's an animal as well. And everyone kind of, you know who he is, and you know how damn good he is. And it's a tough fight. Tough fight. Look, he had a great career. His losses are to guys that everyone knows. Everybody knows. We all know Tony Ferguson, Ali Quinta, RDA, Charles Oliveira. Now everyone knows D-Rod. Everyone's going to know who Renat is. Okay, so
That's true.
all right. Best of luck, my man. If you don't come back, hope the next chapter for you in your life is successful.
100% agree.